welcome to the line change. Apologies for the lateness on this. Ended up missing majority of the game due to me working, but I was able to catch, I believe it was the second and third period while I was on my way home. And then going over everything that went down in this game, it took me a while to do my notes and break it all down. So that's why this video is being uploaded the day after. So just a heads up on that. And there most likely will be a similar scenario in the game on Tuesday. So just a heads up for that. But let's go ahead and break down this Canucks versus Utah game, where the Canucks end up losing by a final score of 3-1. So after that great win where they scored 6 goals against the Blackhawks, the Canucks lose to the Utah Hockey Club. This is now the third time that the Canucks have lost to Utah. They've yet to beat them, and Utah ends up sweeping the series. So we'll have to wait until next year to get another crack at them. And of course, there's a question of whether or not they will still be the Utah Hockey Club next season. But let's go ahead and break down this game. Canucks ended up getting technically 2 power plays in the first period. The third penalty was coincidental minors on both teams' parts. So technically the Canucks only had 2 power plays instead of 3 in the first. They were unable to convert on both of them. There wasn't a whole lot happening in this first period, so I don't have much in my notes for the first period. As I mentioned, I essentially missed the entirety of the first period. Final shots in the period were 10-4 in favor of Utah. So once again, the Canucks getting heavily outshot in the first period. Could very well have to do with the fact that this was the second of a back-to-back, the Canucks. And with how they ran up the score in the game last night, perhaps they didn't have a whole lot of juice in that first period. But moving on to the second period, the Canucks go on the power play once again. Lawson Krause goes off for hooking, and then Quinn Hughes scores his 16th of the season at 2 minutes and 37 seconds on the power play, assisted by Pettersson and DeBrusk. Elias Pettersson, now 7 points in his last 6 games. He continues his point streak. He did not end up scoring a goal in this game, so his 3-game goal streak came to an end, which sucks for him, but hey, at least he's still putting up points. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about Pettersson later on in this video. The Canucks end up being 1 for 3 on the power play after scoring this power play goal. Not a whole lot happened for the second period, and the shots in the period ended up being 7-6 in favor of Utah. Shots after 40 minutes, 17-10 in favor of Utah. And then let's move on to the third period. Logan Cooley scores his 18th of the season at 5 minutes and 8 seconds, assisted by Dursey and Schmaltz. Lankinen had no chance on this one, so you can't really blame Lankinen for this goal. Stopping this shot, this puck, is very hard for most goalies, for them to make that save, as it was a juicy rebound. Cooley had a wide open net, and Lankinen wasn't able to make it over to the open side. Although back in the day, you'd probably have guys like Dominik Hasek doing the whole windmill save. Sure, Lankinen could have attempted that, but for the most part, a lot of goalies and top-end goalies probably do not make this save. You can't hold this one against Lankinen. I completely missed the first Utah goal. Wow, didn't even have that in my notes. Let me quickly bring up the game summary. I can't believe I did that. So the actual first goal by Utah was by Stenlund, his 10th of the season at 12 minutes and 4 seconds, assisted by Bukestad and Carconi. So apologies for that. But let's move back down to the third period once more. Bring up my notes. All right, back to the third period. Apologies for that. Canucks go on the power play. Keller goes off for high sticking. It ends up being a double minor, so it ends up being a 4-minute penalty. And this is a huge opportunity for the Canucks to tie the game up. 4 minutes and on the power play, and the Canucks aren't able to convert on the 4-minute power play. So the Canucks are now 1 for 4 on the power play. This was pretty brutal for the Canucks not to basically get it done on this power play. This was probably their best chance to tie the game up and at least potentially come out of this game with at least a point. Obviously, if the Canucks do end up scoring, most likely Keller doesn't end up getting an empty net goal. Real huge bummer on the fact that the Canucks weren't able to convert on that 4-minute power play. It really spelled the end for them in this game in particular. The final shots in the third period were 9-6 in favor of Vancouver. Final shots in the game were 23-19 in favor of Utah. Let's go over post-game notes because I have a lot of post-game notes written down here. But we're going to start off with Brock Besser. Only 4 goals in his last 31 games since January 1st. So that is a major red flag to see. Besser continues his 12-game goal drought. He only gets 1 shot on goal tonight. Elias Pettersson only had 1 shot on goal. Although I did see Pettersson had 6 hits tonight. So he was laying the body, which is usually Sherwood's game. But Elias Pettersson, 6 hits. I did notice he also had 3 missed shots. So while he only registered 1 shot on goal, he did have 3 attempts, or 4 rather, and missed on 3 of them. I've had plenty of opportunities to win in this game and couldn't do it. Big factor was that, as I mentioned, that 4-minute power play that they did not convert on. After tonight's loss, the Canucks have a 30.65% chance of making the playoffs according to Money Puck. Had they won, their percentage would have gone up to 50%. Utah had way more scoring chances in front of the net and in the blue paint, which is something that really hurt the Canucks tonight. I looked at the shot graphic, and sure, the Canucks had lots of scoring chances as well, but a lot of them were from distance and from the point. And if you're going to do that, you need to put bodies in front of the net if you're going to shoot from distance. And the Canucks did not do that. They also seem to be relying too much on Quinn Hughes, standing around waiting for Quinn Hughes to do something special, spectacular. The Canucks need to get out of that mindset and need to actually help out their captain. Quinn Hughes can't do everything, especially when he's not even 100%. So Canucks really need to step it up in that part. Obviously, Elias Pettersson isn't part of that conversation because he has been producing. Sure, the Canucks got 6 goals last night, but you were also facing the Chicago Blackhawks, so you can't really use that. They have a tough game coming up on Tuesday against Winnipeg. So had they won tonight and gained some ground in the wildcard standings, they could take a loss to Winnipeg on Tuesday and they'd come out. They'd be looking a lot better. Obviously, winning that game against Calgary a few nights ago really helped them out big time, especially for a scenario such as this with them losing to Utah. And then moving on to our player of the game. The line changes, player of the game honors go to Quinn Hughes. Had the only goal for the Canucks tonight. 1 point. Quinn Hughes was a -2. He had 5 shots on goal. He had 1 block. He had 29 minutes and 49 seconds of ice time. So once again, almost 30 minutes Quinn Hughes played. 5 minutes and 50 seconds of that was on the power play. 23 minutes and 59 seconds of that was even strength. And then Quinn Hughes had 11 minutes and 48 seconds ice time in just the third period alone. So Quinn Hughes played a lot in that third period, trying to tie the game up for the Canucks. As we keep saying, Canucks were unable to do it. Therefore, they allow Utah to get those 2 points that Utah desperately needed. And now there are only a few back of the Canucks. I believe St. Louis won again tonight. So St. Louis is now in a tie with us in points. And yeah, another loss. Canucks are going to be looking towards Tuesday against Winnipeg. As far as I know, when it comes to Hedl, there's no update as of tonight and whether or not he will play on Tuesday. I'm certain we'll hear either maybe tomorrow or even Tuesday morning on at least a new update. Obviously, we heard today that he wasn't playing tonight and he was diagnosed with a concussion, although Rick Tocchet did his best to not actually say the word concussion. He just said he was in protocol, which essentially means he has a concussion. And also, I know we did a video the other day talking about Jason Dickinson and whether or not he should be suspended. It looks like Dickinson will not be suspended for that dirty hit, which is appalling because I think he should at least receive 1 game suspension for that, especially considering that hit he did on Macklin Celebrini the other night as well. The Department of Player Safety decided not to fine him or suspend him. And on top of that, he never even got a penalty on the play either. So he essentially got away scot-free. I do have a video coming out later today that talks about that player in particular. And also, apparently, Kiefer Sherwood issued a warning to Jason Dickinson for next season, as the Canucks do not play the Blackhawks again until next season. So I'm not going to give away too much on that video, but stay tuned for that coming out. We have a lineup of videos for later today as some pretty spicy topics. So look forward to that. And that's going to do it for this game recap. As always, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the Line Change, go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on all your Vancouver Canucks content here on the Line Change. If you hit that bell notification, you get notified every single time we upload a new video. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video.